Okay, the last topic on evolution we're gonna discuss is human evolution, and that's kind of important. We're humans. How did we get here? How did this all work? So first off, we have to look at our family, and our family is called the primates. And primates include these guys over here, prosimians and lemurs, little cute guys. Obviously monkeys, there's New World monkeys, they are from South America. Old World monkeys, primarily from Africa, but also Asia. And then there's the apes, gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, and then there's us, the humans. So first off, in our family, you can see how the phylogenetic tree, according to how scientists think we evolved, looks something like that. But what are some common characteristics of all primates? Well, one thing about us is we all have large brains. That's good. It's good to have a big brain and to use it. But notice many of these species live in trees, and they have not just digits, not just fingers, but an opposable thumb for grasping branches, grasping objects, and obviously for humans this is important for making tools and weapons and being able to do things with our hands that your dog or your cat just simply cannot. They lack that opposable thumb. So opposable thumb, an important characteristic of all primates. And then the third one, again, since all these creatures, at least in their past, lived in trees, having flexible shoulders and wrists, being able to sort of climb around and move. Your shoulder has a ball and socket joint. You can move 360 degrees in terms of flexibility. That is a very flexible joint. Your, again, dog and cat don't have any joints in their body that they can do the kinds of things you can with your shoulders. And even your wrist, this gliding joint, gives you incredible flexibility. And again, when you combine that with the opposable thumb, we have really good tools here to make weapons and tools and things. So those are characteristics. Now humans, you might think, oh well, humans, we have the big brain, not these other primates, but that's not the unique human adaptation. If you look at this picture, notice we're the only one that's standing. So a unique human adaptation is that we walk on two legs, what's called being bipedal. And we're in a genus called Homo, and all hominids in the genus Homo walk on two legs. Now it happens, we're the only surviving hominid, so we're the only one within our genus, but again, characterized by walking on two legs, a human characteristic amongst primates. Okay, so again, Old World and New World monkeys, they kind of look the same. The one on the left there is from South America. The one on the right is from Africa. One important difference between the two is that South American monkeys have what's called a prehensile tail. So if you look back up here, notice he's grabbing the branch with a tail that's like another arm, right? That's kind of a neat advantage, but that's the only difference between Old and New World monkeys. Okay, moving on to the apes. So apes, again, are closest members of our family. We have gibbons, orangutans, gorillas, and then our closest cousin, you could say, the chimpanzee. Remember, we share about 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees, and they're obviously our closest relative, along with the pygmy chimp. Remember the bonobos, if you remember that Y6 video, the chimps and bonobos are two closest relatives in the tree of life. So again, human evolution, when did it occur? How did it occur? Well, I think about 6 million years ago, we broke with the chimps and bonobos and sort of became our own unique species. And again, a defining characteristic was walking on two legs. So we became bipeds, again, moving out of jungles and into savannas, where possibly being able to stand up taller could allow you to see predators or prey. And then walking allowed you to use your hands to make things, to use tools. Okay, and as we see, there are other hominids that appeared, right? The most recent was the Neanderthal, but only Homo sapiens sapien survived and is alive today. So of all our other hominids walking on two legs, they all died out, but we're the only survivor. Okay. And again, here's some skulls of other hominids, and you can see the other one that lived in the more recently is the Neanderthal right here died out about 30,000 years ago, and a lot of people think that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals maybe competed for the same food resources and maybe fought each other, but for whatever reason Homo sapiens sapien survived, Homo sapien Neanderthal did not. An interesting thing about human evolution is that humans actually got up and walked on two legs when we still had a pretty small brain. We still had the ape-sized brain, about the third of our brain today. And there's no evidence these early bipeds were making weapons or making tools or doing anything creative other than just walking on two legs. So the large brain came after the bipedalism. One earlier theory we had about human evolution is that about 1 to 2 million years ago, all the different races broke off and moved to different continents. But today we know there was actually a genetic bottleneck. Remember that term? About 100,000 years ago, they think basically one tribe of folks in East Africa was basically all the surviving Homo sapiens, and that from that group, Africans, Europeans, Asians, and Australians, native Australians, emerged. So what that means is we're all genetically very closely related to each other. 100,000 years is not a long time to kind of move out into all the different parts of the world. And again, it's DNA evidence that supports this new hypothesis and allows us to reject this idea that all these different people moved to these continents a long time ago. Oops. And I found this picture. It's kind of some artist's idea of what we're evolving into, right? As increased pollution, right? We'll need bigger lungs, we'll need longer fingers because we're always working on computers and texting and things like that. But this is kind of an absurd notion, right? Humans really, we're not evolving now because we change our environment to suit our needs. In other words, we design technology to work with our fingers. We design, if our eyes aren't working, we wear eyeglasses or we get laser surgery. We don't really need to continue to evolve, although it's pretty interesting to talk about what humans will look like in 1 million years or in 5 million years. Certainly, probably not exactly like we look today, but it's certainly an interesting topic. And anyway, that's it.